Welcome to another episode of More Business, More Life TV. And today I wanted to talk about planning your fun first. Well, as we're scheduling and thinking about the upcoming year and you're really reflecting on what worked well, what didn't work, like there's been so much change right now. It's a lot. I know this, and I definitely have seen the change in my life. And when you're passionate about what you do, we tend to go all in. And many of us that are leaders in our industry or entrepreneurs, other coaches and consultants, I know they have been impacted by all of the change. And that has caused us to really, in some ways, double down on the activities that we're doing. And yes, it is awesome to be passionate. It is awesome to be so passionate that you're willing to, put in more effort, put in more time. And sometimes you don't even notice it because you're just so much into what you're doing. And that is fantastic. It's amazing when you can be so in love with the things that you're doing and the people that you're helping or serving with your products or services. And this is a big deal. Awesome. However, we all have other things that we want to do, like going outside, enjoying nature, being with our families, being with your significant other, your partner, someone that other loved ones that you want to spend time with, or other activities, maybe, sporting activities or seeing new things. There are things that we also enjoy that we forsake and say, someday, one day I'll start doing more of that. One day I'll be able to play with my kids more, or I'll be with my partner more, or I'll get to travel more one day. And, the travel might be more restrictive right now. Well, we know from many locations around the world, it has been very restricted. But maybe you can do something closer to home, or maybe you can, if you've never gone camping. I know some people don't like it, but hey, have you given it a try in a long time? It's, I remember when I was a kid, I used to eat those little raisin boxes at school. And then at some period, I stopped liking raisins. And then later in my adult life, I started liking raisins again. So you never know until you give it a try. So that's one side note. But back to planning our fun first. Why do I say this? If you want to have the life that you want, it's by design. I can tell you, I've been with many millionaires and some billionaires, and none of them said that they just were able to, once they received a certain amount of money, that they got what they wanted. They were happy. Most people think that money will give them the answers of the time and the things and the activities that they want in their life. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that when you have a bad day and you have money, that's not better than when you have a bad day and you don't have money. Because yes, having extra funds and things can make a bad day better than a day where it's really bad and you have no funds. This is, I think, this is obviously mine. Although as I've traveled around the world, I've been with people that have less currency, less actual money in their hands, and they're happier than some of the wealthy people that I know here in the United States. So, my point is, money doesn't get you there. I once was with a woman that had a multi-million-dollar business, 8-figure business with a partner, and she was clearing $1 million herself. And I asked, and she came to meet me to have more money. She said, I want to clear $2 million a year for myself. And I said, what will having that do for you? And she looked down, and then she looked up and she said, you're right, as if I had objected or something. She said, you're right, I don't want $2 million. I actually want more life. And I thought the $1 million would give me that life. And then I was starting to think that $2 million is what I needed. But really, I want to redesign my life so that I can have the money I have, but I really want the life. I really want the life. And so we basically said that, hey, how about we design the life that you want while keeping the $1 million that you're earning? And if you make more money, that's bonus. But that's where we should start. And so what I want you to start to think about is, what do you really want in your life? And if your answer is money, I would have to ask you to ask yourself, what will having that money do for you? What will having that money do for you? And a lot of times it's all the things that we want. So why don't you start to think about the things that you want? Because sometimes, and chances are, you don't need the money that you thought you needed. Like I once had a client that really wanted to have a personal chef. They wanted to eat really well and they didn't feel like they had time to prepare that. And I said, oh, well, how much does that cost? They're like, I don't know. I just know I can't afford it. Well, how do you know? If you've not gotten a proposal, if you've not talked to some personal chefs, if you've not shopped around to figure out how much it costs. And I've actually done that now. And sometimes we like to cook for ourselves. And I've at one point I did delegate our food prep and food cooking sometimes as well. And then now I've been saying, hey, what can I delegate in my business so I can get home and cook meals with my family? So I'm changing. It's like the raisins. Sometimes I liked them, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I wanted to prepare my own food, and sometimes I didn't. So you can have it. But with us, a family of 5, we found it wasn't that considerably much more expensive than buying all the good groceries that we have, taking the time to go find those groceries, taking the time to plan the meals and then prepare those meals. It wasn't that much more expensive to actually hire someone. Now, if you're a single person, maybe it'll be different, but there's so many companies out there now. Why would you not look at that? And back specifically to the plan your fun first. If you want to learn new things as we come into a new year, if you want to learn music, or you want to learn a foreign language, or maybe you want to get into your health more, I encourage you to get a personal trainer or get some teachers. Plan that time, because when we say, oh, I'm going to get off work at a certain time, and there's not something already planned, there's a high chance we'll be like, oh, it's just me. I'm just going to violate my own personal space and time, so I'll just go ahead and keep working. Instead, what I'd like to see you do is go ahead and actually have an obligation. Have a date night with your partner. Have a date night with one of your children. Hey, we're going to go out at this time, and then have that obligation so that it forces you to go and do it. Right? And then now you're going to have to show up. Like I hope you do. If you pay for music lessons or dance lessons or foreign language lessons or painting classes, whatever other activities you might want as a hobby, planning those allows you to then have an obligation to get off work. And then guess what happened for me? Then I actually got more work done faster because I had to leave. It goes back to an old Zig Ziglar story that I heard, and he said, what if you were leaving for Acapulco tomorrow? And I'm going to truncate the story. He did this whole deal, and sometimes I tell that story in some of my workshops, but just the short get of it, he said, what if you were going on a tropical, it was Acapulco in his story. It's not as attractive a place as it was the years that he was doing it. People still go, but obviously a lot of people go other parts of Mexico to have holiday these days. But let's say you were going to go to Acapulco and you were all of a sudden getting a last minute opportunity to go to Acapulco, but you had to leave tomorrow at 8 a.m. and everything was paid for. How many of us would drop everything and get there? And then ask yourself this: what would you have to get done right now between now and 8 a.m. tomorrow to leave on that trip? And how many of you think you would get it all done? And many of us would raise our hand and say, yes, I would. I'll get it all done so I can go on this trip and it's all paid for. You probably would. So why is it when we're going to go on a trip? Think about the last time you went on a holiday. I know it was a while ago because of many of us have not been able to travel. And think about how much you got done before you went off on that, or before you were going to take some time off for the holiday. Whatever it is, how much more did you get done? Now, why is it that we can get that much more done than on a regular day? And so what Zig Ziglar was impressing upon us is why can't we have that type of healthy pressure on ourselves to get things done on a daily basis? And that's not an activity that we're really good at. We have to build a new habit, right? Because we've been used to just working until the work was done, and then we didn't leave. But if you have a deadline, if you're like, I have to leave at 6 o'clock because I'm going on a date with my wife or my husband, whatever it is, you're going to now have a deadline. It could be one of my kids. I take my kids out one at a time too, so we have some one-to-one time. And then you plan that obligation, and then you know that's gonna happen on such time, and that means I have to be done. And that puts the pressure in a really healthy way that I'm going to get this work done now so that I can go. And it makes me plan better. And I started getting much more efficient in my work hours because I knew that I had to leave at a certain time rather than this is the kicker. If you let the whole day be taken up. If you say, I have all day to do this, you will use all day. If you tell yourself, I only have this much time, you're going to find one of two things. One, I can get this done way faster than I thought. Or two, I needed more time, so I'm going to have to break this into 2 days of work. I'm going to have to do half of it today and half of it tomorrow. But you're going to right size the workload. And you're going to have the things that are important in your life because time is going to go by. Our kids are going to grow older every day and every year. Things are going to happen. So take and live now. Live now. You know, I don't believe that it's okay for us to work really hard and then at some old age that we get to retire and have the life. I want to impress upon you to live your life now. Live now, put the things that you want to do, plan your fun first, and then build your work hours because the work is so abundant in our careers and our things. We have to fit that in the time slot that is left after we have planned our family life, after we've planned our fun. And if you're not sure how to do this, please comment. Tell me, hey, Steve, how the heck does this work? I tried it. It doesn't work. I want you to hit me with that. Because I want to help you with it. And if you stump me, I want to be stumped. But I haven't yet. Let's figure out how to integrate this into your business, into your industry. I want to help you have more business and more life. And if you had success with planning your fun first, put that in the comments. Let me know what's going on so we can share in your celebration of success. Thanks so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. As always, choose gratitude and create freedom. We'll see you on the next More Business, More Life TV episode.